Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Just one. It's all we want before we die. We're not asking for a lot. We're not asking for a bunch. It would be nice, don't get me wrong, but just one. Cameron, how long does Dex delay the show?
Yeah.
What time is it right now? It's
10:03. Cameron always has very nice things to say about me in our YouTube comments section across all of our Score North platform shows. Nope. Cameron, we just finished Flagrant Howls. In fact, I feel like we got out right at 10. Usually we kind of linger a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, that's Mackie's fault, but he's not here today. So that's Phil's fault. But yeah, so we got Feedback Friday. We've got a snake draft. AJ will join. Phil, by the way, if you are curious, is on vacation for his 40th birthday. He will be back with us on the Tuesday show. The Monday show, the holiday show, already in the can. It's Purple Access, actually, with Scoggins and myself, in which we rank quarterbacks the Vikings will face in 2025. We rank the quarterbacks. We differ a little bit, but it's fun stuff. But before we get to the feedback, let's get to the feedback that I have for you, the viewer and listener, and that is this. Go to Quick Trip. Go to Quick Trip and check them out, because if you do, you are going to be very, very pleased. The service outstanding. The food selection is great. It is a convenience store, but it's a convenience store that's like a 5-star rating convenience store. It's like a great hotel. They have everything that you could possibly want. And if you do not want to shop, but you want some stuff, put the app on your phone and they will have everything for you when you arrive. It's that simple. Don't forget the chicken. Like tonight, if you're like, what am I going to feed the family? Chicken's outstanding. Folks, it's great. It's Quick Trip. Makes your life as easy as possible. Declan?
All right, so it's Feedback Friday here on Purple Daily. Why is this looping? Why is it still playing? There we go. All right, now it's done.
We're already being ripped on McCarthy by Bartholomew, and we haven't even started the show.
Well, it's because of, number one, the feedback I received, and me being the clickbaity headline person that I am here on Purple Daily. Nice. So, number one, thank you for clicking, and thank you for engaging in our YouTube comments section. So the clicks work. So I want to start with this one, because I saw this in our YouTube comment section. I kind of threw it at you guys on NFL Takes on Monday, and I feel like I got a no answer when I asked the question. So CalDot said, we shouldn't do what the Niners did with Brock Purdy if McCarthy is only an average to an above average quarterback. It's totally fine on a cheap rookie contract, but we need to avoid overpaying unless J.J. McCarthy is elite 3 years from now. I ask this again.
Yep.
If J.J. McCarthy has the same career output as Brock Purdy, numbers-wise, conference championships and Super Bowl appearance loss, if the same thing happens, are we going to rip the contract? Are you going to be upset if the Vikings pay J.J. McCarthy, who has very good, just like Purdy, has very good infrastructure? He's not asked to do a whole lot. I wouldn't call him a game manager, Purdy, that is. But if it's the same thing, if it mirrors each other, are we going to be upset that the Vikings overpaid or paid J.J. McCarthy?
Let's be honest about this. If J.J. McCarthy is part of a Vikings team that gets to the first Super Bowl since January of 1977 and he gets that contract, absolutely not. We will not be upset. No, we will not be. It's a lot to spend, but recall a couple things here. One is the cap is going up. I think by the time McCarthy's rookie contract expires, the new TV deals will have kicked in, and they're going to be bigger than these, and these are monster. So the cap is going to continue to go upward if J.J. McCarthy gets the Vikings to a Super Bowl, and I don't care how he does it. Like if he is, I would say that Brock Purdy certainly didn't lead the charge, but he was an important part, right? He's an important part of that team. If he gets you to a Super Bowl, and if Kevin O'Connell and company are like, this is our guy, no, we will not be upset. We can debate the Purdy contract right now. It's a fun talker. And, couple things too. We don't cover him. So we don't know exactly. Like we're watching him from afar and critiquing him. J.J. McCarthy, we're going to see every day. But if I did not, I can't speak for Phil. If I did not give you a definitive answer before, I apologize, because the answer is we will not be upset about a quarterback who gets the Vikings to their first Super Bowl since number 10, Francis Tarkington, was the QB, which was about 16 years before you were even born.
K Skull says, I'm sorry, but Purdy is not worth that contract. He's lost weapons, and honestly, I do not believe he's good enough to elevate the thinning roster. So Purdy's contract details came out, so we now know what it looks like. In 2025, his cap hit is $9 million this year. So it's $9 million. That's 2.7% of the cap. In 2026, it's $24 million. That's 8.4% of the cap. Here is your kind of big-time kicker, though. In 2027, on April 1st of the league, in the league year of that year, his 2028 salary of $57 million is guaranteed. So they gave Purdy a big time contract extension, right?
Yep.
They gave him no contract numbers here in the first 2 years, and I think Bill Barnwell had this. Of all the quarterbacks that have signed extensions in the last 5 years, only Daniel Jones averaged more annual, I believe, AAV than Brock Purdy did. So I know people look at Purdy and he's this punching bag, and he's kind of like this robot that he shouldn't be a punching bag. But he is.
He shouldn't be a punching bag.
He is a punching bag.
You do wonder at times, because guys like Shanahan are so respected, you do wonder how much of the secret sauce is the coach as well. But he should not be a punching bag. He's been to a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Like if you've been to a Super Bowl, you're telling me that Vikings fans would bitch and moan if you got to a... No, but I mean, I think again, I don't know how good the dude is, but we also, in fairness to the conversation, we don't cover him. So if you're in San Francisco and you're like, ugh, that could be a problem. But like, we're commenting from afar here. If J.J. McCarthy, if Kevin O'Connell says, this is my guy, and he's done absolutely fine, we're not going to complain.
Right.
But my understanding of the Purdy contract, too, is, one, he did take less. I know it's a lot, but he took less. And the other is, let's all sing the restructure dance. Because it's time to restructure your contract. It's time to do it right now. We're going to restructure your contract and get you some help somehow. That's the restructure song. And ladies and gentlemen, too, don't forget, we fell into a trap. I'm going to go here briefly, okay?
Uh-oh.
Because of the Kirk contracts. Because they were ironclad. He wasn't restructuring. At least at first. So like you were, and those contracts now are a bargain. But the fact is, if J.J. McCarthy, and I don't think J.J. McCarthy is also, I think he will also take a fair contract. There's a very good chance that you're fine. So, but I'm with you. He shouldn't be a punching bag. That's not fair.
But it does. Don't you feel like nationally though, more people have questions? Don't you feel like from an outside that like, oh, I don't know if this is the right move. I guess we haven't taken the temperature of the room of what San Francisco or diehard Niners fans are right. thinking about it, which is an important piece of this. But I just look at Kevin O'Connell's getting a lot of respect here. He's a quarterback whisperer. He saved Sam Darnold. He propped up Josh Dobbs. He was getting more out of Kirk Cousins. There's weapons all over the place. The defense is really good. They spent a lot of money to make things well. It's a similar formula to what San Francisco did. And yes, Purdy was the last pick of the draft, and he's an overachiever. There's also a lot of first-round pick quarterbacks that stink. So I feel like if it's a similar thing, I don't want to hear Vikings fans complaining about it like they do with Brock Purdy.
Again, if you get to a Super Bowl, I don't think you'll hear any complaints. Even if you lose that Super Bowl, I don't think you'll hear complaints.
Okay. Glad we got that off our chest, and I'm glad I got the clickbaits going here in the on the YouTube side.
Nice work.
Thanks,
nice work, producer.
Thank you. Jared says, I got to assume JJ is going to be at a different level by the end of the year. So I don't know if our true identity, he's talking about your the gauntlet schedule between week 7 and 10 that we did last Saturday.
Sure.
He says, so I don't know if our true identity will be determined in the middle of the season, but I do get what you're saying, though. And I don't think Judd's saying the true identity. He's saying, I mean, that's the lit. Well, that's like a playoff atmosphere preview too, right?
I'm saying the true identity of the 2025 Vikings, not McCarthy. So I'm saying the identity of this team as a whole, not just the quarterback, the entire team. I think we'll get a read on who they are But yeah, I am not. If you thought I was like saying that this was going to impact my thoughts on McCarthy in 2026, absolutely not. But this team's all in, so like there is pressure here. Like if JJ McCarthy falls on his face, that becomes a problem. So yeah, no, I was speaking more of this year's team as a whole, not like one player.
I get that. Sam says the focus on McCarthy and Vikings is as juicy a story. The focus on McCarthy and Vikings as a juicy story is good only as long as they win. The season will be the opposite of last year, where the team was flying under the radar and could play free without a lot of pressure until the last few games. The amount of attention on the team right now is what worries me the most. Remember last year when Bo Nix was terrible at the start and it was noticed but not a big deal. That won't be the case if McCarthy stumbles, given the schedule the Vikings have and the scrutiny on them right now. Is there more focus on the Vikings right now? Like, I think people are curious about J.J. McCarthy, no doubt. But do we feel like NFL Live and other NFL Network are like talking about the Vikings incessantly? I don't feel like that's the case.
Cowards got him picked to finish last. No, yeah. I think that there's a lot of doubt. And I think the doubt stems from McCarthy.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm not sensing, unless I'm missing a national thread here. Of course we talk about them, but as far as like nationally, no, I don't. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I actually feel like they've been a little bit disrespected given what they did in free agency. So, no, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if people are talking about him the same way. I agree with him though on the start, right? Like anything. Would 3-2 be a disaster? In the first 5 games.
Disaster? No, it wouldn't be a disaster. Like I think, I picked him to go 4-1 because I think 5-0 is super aggressive. But no, disaster's too strong. 1 win would be a disaster. That would be a disaster. No, if you're 3-2, that's not.
Yeah, William Young's here in our YouTube comment section. National media all says Vikings are a last place team. I mean, this is right? What I'm about to say. The more people are talking about the Bears than the Vikings.
Yes.
Like people think this is finally, and I saw a great reel on Instagram the other day for when you're gonna go 7-10, you've been named the team of the offseason for 5 straight years, and that kind of feels at times like the Bears. We got Caleb Williams last year. Everything's gonna be great. Now they've spent a lot of money, just like the Vikings did, by the way. They spent a lot of money in the trenches to beef things up and protect Caleb Williams. They had a interesting draft, getting some playmakers here. Again, for Caleb. New coach, exciting, all this, blah, blah, blah. Number one, has anyone broke down Donovan Jackson on ESPN, the Vikings first-round pick? Is anyone talking about Jordan Mason being the second bell cow here? Like, I don't get I haven't heard the attention from the Vikings yet.
If I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm thrilled. Because, I feel like they're being largely slept on or dismissed, which, by the way, is perfect. Mm-hmm. Like, make no mistake, nobody in TCO is like, I watched NFL Live again today, and they ignored us. Or Colin Cowherd picked us to finish last, that SOB. They should be delighted. I mean, O'Connell, on the opening night of training camp last year, used that as a jumping off place. He says he ignores it. Make no mistake, he does not ignore it. Like, they use that. So if I'm the Vikings brass, I am thrilled. Because if it was, okay, JJ McCarthy is the quarterback and we were predicting Super Bowl, then you got some outside pressures. I don't sense any outside pressure right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Some more feedback here on the Purple Daily side. And if you guys want anything answered too, drop a comment here on the YouTube comment section. Also, we'll have a snake draft. Got Mariano Rivera. I'm trying to think of a good comp here. Got AJ coming in as the third snake draft guy. When he comes in, he usually shuts the door.
He took a loss last time.
He did take a loss last week. Judd.
I was the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Louis Gonzalez, I walked that sucker off.
Speaking of running backs, Pablo says, is anyone here surprised that the Vikings didn't draft a running back? Drafting Jackson seems to make me think the Vikings are going to focus more on running the football next season. I'm going to actually have a Vent Line episode kind of talking about some Jordan Mason because I feel we've talked about it in the deep red, and are they going to run the ball more? But I'm pretty bullish on Jordan Mason. I thought he was awesome with San Francisco last year. But are you surprised they didn't draft a running back? Or are you good with this tandem most likely going in with Mason and Aaron Jones?
I was a little bit surprised, only because of the depth of the class. But when you also looked at the lack of depth of their picks, they didn't have a lot of picks. Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit surprised. But as the comment from Robbie B there says, Mason is the answer to them. So, yeah. I mean, Jordan Mason, when they made that trade in March, that was their answer for a starter or a co-starter, right? Like it's Aaron Jones and Mason. So was I shocked? No. Did I think that they would probably take a running back in the late rounds? Yes. Do I think that they made a monumental gaffe by not doing it? Not really.
I love the word gaffe. Gaffe's a good one.
Gaff is a good one. There's several words like that. Yep.
I love Thor's tweet the other day that basically said the Vikings essentially traded Ed Ingram for Jordan Mason because I believe the sticks, which is incredible. I know it's a workaround, like you did right. Point A to get to point B.
And you screwed up
to
get the guy in the first place in Ingram. But yeah, and again, it shows you that you can get teams to buy into promise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the difference is Bradbury had to be let go because he was a known product. He's a better player than Ingram will ever be probably, but teams are like, well, there's not much more here. So yeah, Thor was right. Thor was exactly right. It is, assuming that Jordan Mason can do what we expect, that could be a heck of a essential swap.
Yeah. All right, more feedback here on Purple Daily. Rock Howard says, these three stooges are trying to figure out which team is due for regression in the NFC North. Let's turn the mirror around and take a look at the Vikings. Will the Vikings revert back to the basement after Kwesi's fourth consecutive terrible draft? Will J.J. McCarthy have a typical first-year quarterback performance and struggle against NFL defenses? Have you figured out how to stop the run against elite teams? The Lions have the best running back room in the NFL. The Sonic and Knuckles duel. You know who Sonic and Knuckles are, Judd?
Sonic and Knuckles was like a cartoon or something, right?
It's a video game cartoon. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Figured you'd know that.
I just knew, I did not know that until last season when they talked about it in Lions games. So just to be clear, I would not have known that a year ago.
Sonic and Knuckles duel maximizes their effectiveness and limits the wear and tear on their studs. Loser take to call out potential injuries that could affect the standings. You could say that about every team, including your own. I don't know if we were calling out injuries that were bound to happen. I'm not sure if we necessarily did that. Could be a Lions fan. Could be a Lions fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would love to comment and lash back with the anger, the vitriol. There's another good word for you.
Ooh, vitriol. That's a good one.
But, okay. Yeah. We'll see what happens, I guess. Sonic and Knuckles, though, is a great a great duo name.
Yeah. Shadow. That was another one of
you know what it
Sonic
beats?
Characters.
It beats the very cliched now, Batman and Robin.
We're overusing that one, you think?
I feel like it's just been, well, and I mean, it's appropriate, but I feel like it's just been pounded into the ground. Like, okay, I don't need no more Batman and Robin. Not even knowing who Sonic and Knuckles were, it just sounds good.
Yeah. I also think, though, I know you've only seen the original first movie, right, of Batman?
No, I've never seen any of the movies.
That's
cartoon guy and when I was a kid,
that's nuts.
The cartoon show. I've never seen the movies.
That is nuts to me.
Dude, it's all after me. I was a Batman fan from the 1960s TV show reruns. Mm-hmm. I actually used to, as a child, cut out the Batman cartoon in the Star Tribune or the Tribune at the time and like pasted them and saved them in a scrapbook. So I was a fan at one time.
Okay.
But then I found sports.
I mean, I like the comics and I like sports. Maybe I should force you guys, because I know Phil's not a superhero dude much either. We should probably do a superhero draft just to make you guys try to pick your best guys.
Impromptu. Can I give you a little something that grinds my gears?
Yes. A judge grinds his gears. Okay. Yes, here we go. Okay, thank God.
And just to be clear here, my mom grew up, she was born in, God rest her soul, in 1935. But she grew up and she loved the comics pages. in the paper, which, by the way, in like the 40s and 50s made perfect sense, right? Into the 70s. Why do we still have comics? With all that newspapers have cut back, and I understand there's financial problems, right? So like I'm not blaming newspapers. But in the Star Tribune still, there's still the comic page. Does anybody who is like under 40 read the comics? Like, do you ever like find a newspaper and read the comics? I'm not a boomer.
He's not.
Okay. I got you. He's saying boomers read the right.
Yes.
But I mean, boomers are aging out. They're dying. It's unfortunate.
You're saying comics and papers.
I'm saying why are the comics still in newspapers? Like with all of the pages that they have had to cut back.
Sure.
Like there have been, it is hard to run a newspaper. They're always looking to trim. Clearly their websites are where they're trying to make their cash now, which I get all of that. But how did you not like 20 years ago say, you know what we don't need? The comics in our paper.
You're asking the wrong guy when it comes to what newspapers should and should not be doing.
I'm just saying this from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
So I mean, newspapers are disappearing. It's sad but true. But they are disappearing, and most people don't give a damn. But but like one of the most obvious trims to me would have been the comic pages. Like they take up a page plus sometimes.
Literally everyone saying
who still
reads the newspapers here. Judd does.
Folks, let me show you this. This was at my doorstep this morning. Look at that little SGA. Too much SGA in OKC. I'm just trying to help out here from a financial standpoint. Okay. That grinds my gears.
Some more Vikings feedback here coming up. Plus, again, our snake draft of the week, which should be a lot of fun. But a shout out to my friends at Two Men and a Truck. 2 Men and a Truck made this move happen. My guys Artie and David, they were able to come through, made the move super simple and easy. They packed up everything safely, securely, got in the truck, got it in the new house, in and out in 2 hours. It was fast, it was efficient. And you should let the pros. Don't try to figure out your friends and family that have their own truck or their own schedules. Don't inconvenience them. In fact, go hire the experts. Go hire 2menandatruck.com to make that move simple and easy for you. Tell them also that Purple Daily sent you. Judd, though, Neos Elite. Tell us about them.
Yeah, if you were a guy or a gal who loved golf, or you love to get out on the basketball court and shoot hoops, and now guess what? The pain is too much. Perhaps it's back pain, perhaps it's knee pain. Let me tell you about my friends at Neos Elite Performance, because they have cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy that's designed to get you going again without invasive procedures. This is going to be a service where they come to you, where they help you. Again, cutting edge stuff here. No trips to the doctors, no trips to the hospital. They're going to get you back to doing what you love. They're going to get you back on the course. They're going to get you back on the court. Just reference our show, Purple Daily, and you're going to get $500 off a cellular IV therapy treatment as well. That's right, $500 off for just mentioning this show. No surgery, no downtime, only the results that you are looking for. Make that pain disappear and get back in the game. NeosElite.com, Neos Elite.com.
Digit says run defense will likely remain a problem this year. Already down play or early down play action. Defensive tackle free agents are no longer run defenders, and linebackers are 2 down backs. If the Vikings cannot get off the field against these power run ball control teams, football, we'll still have the same results as last year. It'll be interesting to see how B-Flow adjusts players' scheme to defend the run successfully. They've went out and got Hargrave. They're trying to beef up this defensive line. Mm-hmm. How confident are you that the Vikings can slow down opposing run offenses, Judd?
They better. Like you spent. I mean, the majority, and you spent a ton of your free agent money went to interior offensive line, which does not just mean pass protection. It means a better run game for you. And you then went out and signed 2 older but formerly effective guys. So I would think the personnel change would help a lot. It should help a lot. So I would expect that, 1, that would be more effective. And 2, I also think that the ability to have a pass rush generated without a blitz is going to help your secondary hold up as well. So that was definitely a point of emphasis. If it's not improved, it's going to be a big point of disappointment.
Yeah, they got to figure out a way to get off the field quicker. You know, I like Harrison Phillips a lot. Good dude, good solid player. That's turned into a nice starter for them.
Very good player,
but I mean, they got Jalen Hurts. I have a tush push comment here coming up. They got to figure out a way to slow that down.
When you go, well, and it is really intriguing, Dex. When you go through again the quarterbacks that they play here, it is a gauntlet. The quarterbacks on the road, as of right now, and things clearly change and morph during a season, not as tough. But the quarterbacks that you're going to face here, it is going to be tough. So yes, they are going to. The defense is good right now, but there are definitely areas where I think that they're going to have to be improved a bit.
BK says they need to ban the tush push or allow the defense to push through on field goals, punts, and extra points like they used to. It's an offensive league, so good luck. So the tush push passed just by the skin of the boats, right? Like barely got through. Vikings voted to ban it.
Yeah, and a very
Why did the Bills vote to ban it? They love to use the tush push.
I don't know, but I don't think Goodell. I think Goodell wanted it banned, and it didn't, which is very, very rare. The whole thing was weird. And then, Jason Kelce, as you brought up a couple days ago, was flown in with the owner of the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, who gave an impassioned speech, at which point he made an inappropriate comparison to how thrilled he was that the Eagles had perfected something so much that there was now something to ban it. It was the whole story. If you've not read it, find the story about the tush push meeting in Egan a couple of days ago. Very, very odd. But I will say this, the Vikings actually in 2010, in March of 2010, the Vikings voted to not pass the rule at that time for in overtime of a playoff game, both teams to get a possession. So the Saints field goal cost the Vikings, and the rule was passed because it's like, okay, so that game ends on a field goal and that's it. Right. So and that rule got passed, but the Vikings were not for that rule. The Vikings wanted it left as is, which is how they lost. So there's some weird stuff. I also think, just quickly, the Bills thing, Dex, I think there's a chance that, one, they don't like it when teams do it to them, and two, Josh Allen is a monster. I don't know. Yeah. Like, does he need the tush push?
Doesn't need it, but it works pretty well.
No, it does. But I'm just saying, I wonder if they're like, okay, the guy's a monster. So that might be why. But clearly it came from a feeling that defensively they don't like it.
Yeah. BB Clips on YouTube says, the onside kick discussion made me pull my hair out. It's not supposed to be a high success rate. And I don't think a 4th and 15 will be much more than a 6% success rate anyway. Special teams is a part of the game. Should we get rid of field goals too and replace it with an auto 4th and 5 because it's more exciting?
I think if Phil was here, he would be like, that's a great idea.
I would actually be okay with it.
I got bad news for you, dude.
Oh, God.
I got bad news for you. Okay, but what makes the game exciting? A chance to convert it. And right now, like, percentages here matter. Yes, it was always a low percentage play. It's now basically a no percentage play. Mm-hmm. You have to declare it. It's literally like the onside kick for, and I know it's precautionary, for injury purposes, but it's literally like what you would do in a Pop Warner game with your 3rd grade kid. Like, Billy, we gotta be very careful of Billy. Let's make sure he doesn't get, like, all I'm saying is put in a play, which, and it's been done in other leagues. They've talked about this. Put in a play that has a chance. These are professionals. If we're going to protect them, that's fine. But if we're going to protect them too much, then let's find a way to find a play that is a lot more fun. It's entertainment.
I agree. Mighty Kraken says, man, I can't wait for Judd's camp notes. How excited are you for camp notes? Because the first one's OTAs, right? We got
a Wednesday. I got one on Wednesday. In fact, I was going to do something with Phil for a work thing, and now I'm going to cancel because I got to be out there for Judd's camp. So yeah, we've got camp notes throughout. Well, May's almost done, but we got one more in May, another OTA in June, and then we've got mini camp, which is scheduled for 3 days. It's almost always 2. So and then July, like after the draft, I'm usually rearing to go.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the McCarthy notes, which I think will be well received. I'm excited. In fact, tease to the Saturday show. You know what else? I'm a little bit excited for a punting competition. I might be unveiling 3 way too early special team storylines. But right. Yes, I love that question, and I am very, very fired up.
Jared actually says, important message to Judd and staff. When you have camp notes and you get to your notes on TID, you should call them tidbits. And now it's time for tidbits, which of course are your Ingram Dawkins notes. So Judd's tidbits. He wants Judd's tidbits from camp notes.
Okay, we'll consider it. Yeah.
Yep. Just like we do with Keys. Are we retiring Keys for good?
Keys have been retired. Keys is Keys has had some physical problems with all the drinking he used to do. But yes, I like it. Tidbits. Great word, by the way. That's
tidbits,
another great word. Tidbits, a great word.
Yeah. Some other feedback here on the show and our snake draft of the week, which we're going to get to from with our guy AJ. By the way, our topic, best sports TV programs. So best sports TV shows. And games don't count, so Sunday Night Football doesn't count, but best sports-related programming, which is going to be a lot of fun.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is going to be outstanding.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But a quick shout-out to my friends at Northern Soda. So Northern Soda is Minnesota's craft 1950s style soda, baby. You want to go get a soda pop with your nice gal here down at the diner? There's actually a tap room for Northern Soda, which is pretty cool. It's located there in New Brighton, so you can, which is located here, obviously, in the Twin Cities. So if you're looking for a nice little refreshing soda, you can find Northern Soda in Kowalski's, Lund's, and Byerly's, most Targets. Plus, they have the Sunday Purple Soda, and that's 10% off for all Score North listeners. So when you go to the tap room and you say, I want that purple soda, I heard it on Score North, I heard it on Purple Daily, that's 10% off. So go pick up some Northern Soda today. Plus, a shout-out to our friends at Standard Heating, who made this home purchase for me happen. Your HVAC and air conditioning needs are good. And in fact, now that the weather's, it's warmed up a little bit here in the Twin Cities, but it's not a scorcher. This is the perfect time to get that AC looked at. You don't have to worry about it going out on the worst possible day. Let the pros take a look at it for you to make sure that AC is tuned up and ready to rock. So go to standardheating.com. Again, tell them that I sent you. They do a great job. My guy Cameron came through. I'm not DIYing this. I'm letting the pros handle it at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. So here's some show feed. I like to pull some show feedback here for all three of us when Phil's out. I have this one here from Crunch Factor, who says, does Judd ever go on vacation? So right now Phil is on vacation enjoying his 40th birthday. I was in San Diego a few weeks ago for a wedding. He wants to know, does Judd ever go on vacation?
Does he want me to?
He's just curious, I think.
Like, is this a curiosity, or is this like, I wish that guy would go on vacation? Yes, occasionally, not as much. I used to more. I got to be honest. After COVID, I don't travel as much because I traveled a lot when I was the lead beat writer for the Star Tribune for the Vikings. I traveled a lot, and Dawn and I used to go on trips more. So not that much, although with the way things are trending, I might be taking some time off next weekend. One of Dawn's best friend's daughters getting married, and I might go to that.
Oh,
I told her, I said, if we got Game 6, I can't go.
Sure.
I'm not at this point in time holding my breath for Game 6, so I might be going. But yeah, I don't travel as much. I'm very comfortable staying home or going to games around town.
So it's out of town though.
It's in Iowa.
Oh, it's in Iowa. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't. But no. I don't. I will fully disclose that I am, and plus, post COVID as well, we do the show from home basically. So like, it's not like I got to get up in the morning and go into work. Like, I get to talk about sports.
Yeah.
So if I'm around, why wouldn't I want to talk about sports?
That's right. Mar Mayer says, considering Phil gave himself a touchdown a few weeks ago for a report that will link Kirk to the Vikings by the draft, he would have no leg to stand on about not calling your predictions touchdowns. There are listeners in Purple Daily.
We're bringing this up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he might not debate it. He might be like, I considered it. That's fine. Take it.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even know that this is going to be a fight. I was just a little bit surprised that I didn't get that. At least in my case, I won't speak for you. I didn't get one.
Yeah, I thought there was some. I thought there was some borderline ones there. And then Junk Blaster says AJ is a great sub. Maybe prefer him over Declan these days. So even AJ Fredrickson, who joins here on Purple Daily for our snake draft of the week, AJ's getting a lot of love.
Hi, Age.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, first off, I want to address that. I feel like Declan is your consistent. Maybe he's batting like 285 to 300. You know what you're going to get. I'll come in a pinch and I can hit fastballs opposite field for a bloop single, but Declan is your consistent everyday starter. So I'm a very situational fill-in, which I appreciate getting some love, but let's put some respect on Dex.
And to be fair, there's a guy in the comments, I've not seen a comment of late, that basically said I should be fired from the show. So, like, the hate goes around. I embrace the haters.
You do embrace them.
I embrace the hater. Bring on the hate, folks. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? I would prefer that you get your anger out here than elsewhere. I can take it. I'm a man.
I'm
55.
40. I'm 55.
I'm a man.
So we are going to do our snake draft of the week here, which is best sports TV shows. Some updated statistics. Judd won again. Winning streak's up to 3. He edged me out on stand-up comedians. Judd, you won with a 41.8% winning percentage. You're 18 for 47 on a 3-game heater here. I feel like I've gotten second place like 5 weeks in a row. AJ tracks first place, obviously wins, and he tracks last place finishes. So Judd has 16.5 last place finishes. Mackie has 14.5 last place finishes. I have 13. And then AJ, you're making your 9th appearance on a snake draft. AJ has won 4 of 8, and he's only finished in last place once. So AJ, you might be a situational hitter, but you are like, you're like David Freese here. Like you when it's the ALCS or the games in the line, you're coming in here and you're a legend, man.
I don't know. I got a lot of people got rattled by my MASH pick. I want to say 2 weeks ago.
That was an interesting pick by you.
You know,
Declan got rattled by it.
I was rattled by it. I was on vacation, rattled by that decision.
Watching
in the hotel bed. It's like, what is he doing?
Just screaming at your laptop computer. Like, what are you? Yeah, that's fine.
So today's topic is best sports TV shows. So a little bit of parameters here. I think we know mostly how this works. You can't pick the actual game. So, like, you can't pick Sunday Night Football. You can't pick AJ saw his Spurs win. You can't pick the Premier League match of the. Is that even a thing? Is there like Premier League night? What's the equivalent of Sunday Night Football for the Premier League?
They literally have Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
And Monday Night Football, but yeah.
I figured that was a thing. So you can't pick like Game 7. You can't pick the actual game, but everything else is on the table, whether it's a talking head show, a pregame and postgame show are on the board. If that's something, I think that is a gray area, but I think it should count because there are a few that are in mind. Like for example, if you're dumb enough to pick the Fox pregame show, you could pick that. I don't know why you would pick that. But if that's your type of thing that you like, you could pick that. So the draft order this week, I'm pulling this up, unless, Age, do you have it in front of you?
I do not.
I believe it's
your first pick, right?
Yeah, it's I have the first pick. AJ's in for Phil, so AJ gets the second pick.
Yes.
Judd, you get the third and the wraparound pick into rounds 1 and 2. So I have the first pick in this week's snake draft. Age, you still want me to keep track of this? Send you the results.
You might get a weird text. Basically, I'm just gonna draft it in a text to you, and if I accidentally hit send, you might get the order. But I'll keep track of it myself.
Okay, perfect. So with the first pick, I'm gonna go with what's on everyone's mind, I think, today, and everyone will be has been talking about recently. I will take Around the Horn. Take Around the Horn. I loved Around the Horn as a kid. And in fact, I love Tony Reali. He's the, I don't really use this word a lot, and I don't really like to compare myself, and I don't like to project who I wanted to be. I wanted to be Tony Reale when I was a kid. Yes, I wanted to be Tony. And in fact, there's still things that I try to do in my career that are probably even just a half of a fraction of a percent of what Tony Reale can bring to Around the Horn. He's thoughtful, he's insightful, he has to manage all of these takes, and he does it brilliantly and elegantly. I love Around the Horn. Tony did a phenomenal job. I'm excited to see what's next for him. But give me Around the Horn with my number 1 overall pick.
All right. I'm gonna need some clarification here.
Okay.
Because you let me know last night, and I was like, how can I maybe think outside the box here? How can I maybe get a leg up?
This is always dangerous.
Can I take Hard Knocks? It's a sports TV show. Give me Hard Knocks.
I think you should be Judd. Are you good with that?
Fine with it.
Because it's a game. It's a sports. It's not a documentary.
See,
it's a reality show.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't have thought of it, but it's not like the only parameter you drew it was games, right, Declan?
Yes.
Like you said, sports. Like I figured, like
it's a sports.
Nobody's gonna take like Ted Lasso. That's like
that doesn't count.
Fake. Yeah, it's a made up
because that's a fictional show.
Yeah, but this is like it's rooted in reality. You're following a real team, but it's not talking head. So I just wanted to get that off the board. But if I can take Hard Knocks, I will select that.
Okay. I'm personally good with this, Judd. If you're good with it,
I'm fine with it. I'm perfect.
It wasn't on my big. Actually, you know what? Hot take. I'm not a Hard Knocks fan. Never have been.
It depends on the team. There's some great ones, and then there's some boring ass ones.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest one, and it's never coming back, was the one last offseason, the Giants one. No one will ever agree to participate. Joe Judge looked like such a boob after that. Another great word. But, it all depends on the circumstances, because there have been some really boring ones, too.
Yeah, they made absolute stinkers that they pick, but otherwise,
well, they got final control. The team has final control, so there's teams that just don't give you crap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have the third pick and then the next pick. Excuse me. My first pick's very simple. Inside the NBA.
Okay,
that's a great pick.
Yep, I figured.
Just a great show.
Like a great panel. Even if you're not a basketball fan, I feel like you can tune in.
Yeah.
It's very clippable. Like it's like a lot of like the Tonight Show nowadays. I don't think a lot of people don't sit down and like watch Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel anymore, but it's like they'll see the clip and it's like that's hilarious, and then they'll maybe get drawn more to it. So that's a great
SNL.
Pick. Yes, yeah,
it's all clips now. I never watch it, but I see like every skit that's worth a
couple of beers.
Yep, a couple of beers. Okay, so Inside the NBA is my first pick, and then I am going to take the show that spurred Around the Horn. I'm going to take PTI.
PTI, okay, yeah,
great pick.
Pardon the interruptions. I still love that show. Those
guys
are
great.
Old, but they are the greatest thing that they captured there was those were two guys in Kornheiser and Wilbon who for years sat around in the newsroom at the Washington Post sports department and argued. And somebody brilliantly said, why don't we have you do this on TV? So like, it was genius. But anyway, okay. So Inside the NBA and PTI.
Okay. All right. Back to Age for this second pick.
This seems almost too obvious. This is going to feel similar to when I think I took like days on the sports calendar and I just took the Super Bowl. Like it feels too obvious. Just give me Flagship Sports Center.
Yeah. I almost took this with the first overall pick.
Like, do I need to pick? Does that encompass everything? Because if I had to pick a specific decade, I want 2000 Sports Center. But I think like
you got to go 90s before your time.
He wasn't around.
Oberman and Dan Patrick, baby.
In the mid 90s.
I know, which is a shame. You missed the big show. Oberman and Dan Patrick. Those were the glory days, man.
No, I remember sitting in Mr. Cupcho's homeroom at Fridley Middle School, and we'd be there. We'd have it on in the because he was a gym teacher, so he had like the home ec, like with the stoves and stuff.
Yeah,
but he had the TV in the corner, and it would be me and a bunch of guys standing around there watching the top 10 for the day. Always late to technical first period. Always late because we had to watch the top 10.
Typical gym teacher.
Yes. Oh, he didn't care. He was awesome. Love Cupcho. But yes, give me just flagship Sports Center.
No, that's a solid pick. I thought about just making it the number 1 overall pick too, because it's all encompassing. And yeah, it's the thing you can always have on at the bar. It's the thing you can just turn on as the background noise. I agree with Judd. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Because there's eras of shows too that I have in my list that I would pick an ESPN show, but only a certain era, and I might do that here.
I think Scott Van Pelt's, when he's on the desk, that's
outstanding. Yes. He's outstanding. I agree with that.
Okay, so I get the wrap around here with my second and third pick. With my second pick, give me College Game Day. I'm not even a college football guy. College football doesn't. I don't really spend a lot of my Saturdays watching college football, but College Game Day is incredible. They go to each of these campuses. The vibes are immaculate. They have phenomenal guests that join them. It is probably their best studio-based pregame show, and they have a lot of them, right? They have the rights to Monday Night Football. They have the rights to NBA playoffs. I actually do like what they do with hockey now. I don't think it's on the level of Game Day or NFL, but College Game Day, in my opinion, is by far their best pre-game coverage in studio or on-site show. So give me College Game Day with my second pick. Sorry. Okay, so I am between two with my final ones here, because talking about our eras, the original Sports Nation with Beadle and Coward was can't miss bleep. I would be running home in ninth grade to make sure I was catching Sports Nation with Beadle and Coward. So I'm between that, and if I'm giving people an opportunity to swipe it after I make this selection, the early 2000s Baseball Tonight, when baseball was king, is also on my big board here.
That's on my big board, yeah.
I am going to take the original Sports Nation. The original Sports Nation. So not they tried to keep it going after Coward left and after Michelle left. Right? It's dead. Yeah, it's not a thing anymore. But the original Sports Nation was awesome. For God's sakes, they picked the Madden cover one year. You know, like they had an incredible influence on the sports world. And I loved that show. So I'll take College Game Day and the original Sports Nation to wrap up my team.
I have a couple that I feel super confident about. One I know I'm not going to pick, but I think needs to at least be mentioned. And I don't think Judd has ever watched this show, so I don't think he's going to pick it even if I mention. Pros versus Joes. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I remember Pros versus
Watching
Joes.
Like former running backs just steamroll a guy with a 9-to-5. Yep. Like it was tremendous television. And then especially when you got the guy who was like sneaky athletic, he has to hit like 4 3-pointers over some former point guard or whatever, and it just miracle.
Yeah.
Great television. Give me Sports Science with John Brenkus.
Oh, Sports Science, yeah.
Sports Science.
Oh, wow.
Break it down for me, Johnny. Show me just how much impact is, Adrian Peterson hitting the hole with.
I remember that.
How much curve does Clayton Kershaw have on that 12-6 curveball of his? Break it down for me. My middle school mind could not comprehend the numbers, but boy, visually was it impressive. I'll take Sports Science with my third round pick.
Wow. Yeah, I feel it's very niche, and I feel like it kind of had a shorter runway. They kind of bring it back every once in a while when like something crazy happens in sports or like there's a new phenomenon going on. But it was, when it first came out, it was a really cool thing. So I do dig it.
Okay, I need an interpretation here then, or a clarification. So if I take Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick's Sports Center from the 90s, can I have that?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I basically took pop. I got all beverages that are pop.
Okay. Then I am going to go with Baseball Tonight.
The
original. Okay.
Yeah.
Baseball Tonight was a great show. I missed that show. Still.
Yeah,
I know MLB Network has that quick pitch show, but it's not the same. I thought Baseball Tonight was a perfect mix of highlights and analysis. So.
I personally think, MLB Network as a whole is by far, despite baseball being in its own way and digging its own grave with so many things, their network show, their network is the best. I think it's better than NFL Network. I think it's better than NBA TV. MLB Network is phenomenal.
NHL, you haven't watched that yet. It's good stuff.
I like, I haven't watched in a while, but Intentional Talk
Yeah.
Chris Rose, Kevin Millar. That is
Chris Rose.
Rose is gone now.
Fired like 2 years ago from that show.
Well, then that's why.
But the original was great. Yep.
The original was great, and then it had been followed up by Mad Dog, and I would once again as a
Mad Dog's gone too.
Yeah, well, he's on First Take now, but
he was on both for a long time. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, it would cut from a super fun, laid back conversation to Mad Dog right in my face, like
Casey
another blown.
Oh, he would talk about, but the greatest thing, he'd be like, Mantle, nobody beat Mantle. It's like Mad Dog. No one
cares about Mickey Mantle.
Sitting there watching, like, how's this?
No one knows anymore. It's really sad.
I thought about taking 30, the 30 for 30 catalog.
Yep,
I don't know if that would have.
That would have counted.
Okay.
That would have counted. It's sports-related programming.
All right.
I had Stump the Schwab was another one I had on my big board.
Ooh.
That was a great R.I.P.
Yeah, Schwab died. Schwab was he got canned and was very bitter at his former employer for a long time too.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's your snake draft of the week here. You can vote on this on the Score North Twitter page. AJ will post a graphic here. Will someone stop Judd's reign of terror, winning 3 wins in a row, or will you support the reign of terror? I guess
I like my first 2 picks a lot. I love my first 2 picks.
Those are good ones. Those are good picks. I'm excited to see how this is interpreted by our audience.
Absolutely.
So that's our snake draft. That's your Purple Daily Feedback Friday. A Saturday check down tomorrow on special teams. That's right, baby. Special teams from Judd.
3 storylines.
Some 3 takeaways.
3 storylines.
3 storylines. Sorry for special teams. An event line episode with yours truly and a couple Vikings fans on Sunday. Appreciate you, Age, jumping in here on the snake draft.
Bye, Age.
Purple Daily, Daily Vikings Entertainment, where we just want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl before we die.